one of the most hated vegetables, okra. I remember when I was young, when I was a kid, even in my early 20s, I would say, I would think about okra and say, disgusting, it's so slimy. And that's really kind of it's not a myth, but it's something that people really think before actually trying it, just because of the way it looks. Even my father nowadays, we talk about okra and he says, it's so slimy, I don't want it. Well, the reality is it is slimy, sometimes more, sometimes less slimy, as I'm going to show you in my video today. But in reality, okra is a delicious vegetable. My kid, my toddler, loves it. I think it's one of his favorite vegetables. So today, let's talk about how to grow okra. Welcome to Self-Sufficient Urban Gardening. So what I have here is purple okra, and this is a very nice and soft type of okra, very good tasting too. I have a few of these plants around my garden, and as I said, with all the plants that I have, every week we have a little portion of okra. My son loves it so much that every year I plant several, and I even gave some to the neighbors this year. So one of the very important things you need to know about okra is that it really likes very warm weather. So if you're in the northern states, for example, in the US, you have to wait until it's really warm, like June. Here in Southern California, I wanted okra so early. I planted it maybe in April, and the soil was not warm enough. So the plants didn't really grow, they were really small. So even here in Southern California, you have to wait until the soil temperature is somewhat warm. And that for us here is like May or so. So these guys here I planted in May and June, and right now in September they're in their end of their life. So yeah, that's one of the very important things about okra. It really needs warm weather, and the leaves are pretty sturdy and strong, and they will take all the heat that you can get. For example, here it was in the 90s and sometimes even in the hundreds Fahrenheit, and the okra plants did very well as long as you water it enough. A lot of people don't know how to cook okra, or they say that it's too slimy and it really doesn't taste good. The reality is the okra from our backyard, at least, it's not too slimy and it's really easy. So we cut it in little pieces like this, and we put some seasoning, black pepper here and lemon crunched, and a little bit of salt, and I put a little bit of water so that it doesn't really dry all the way while it's cooking. And then we stir it a few times, cover with the lid, and just stir it once in a while, and it will be ready in maybe 10 minutes. So yeah, that's really easy to do. So you can see here starting to dry a little bit, so I'm gonna stir and add a little bit more water so it doesn't really dry all the way. And you can add more seasoning if you want, but as you can see, it's not as slimy as the ones you buy at the grocery store. Yeah, you can see some of the slime there, see? But it's really little. It's not a lot of slime that you see here. So yeah, a few more minutes. I'll add some more black pepper here and we'll be done. After a couple of minutes, look how soft this is. You can pierce right through this just with the fork. Very soft. Seasoning, And see, it's not slimy at all. Look at that. Almost different from what people really believe. There's, yeah, a little bit, but it's not too slimy. I really don't have much problem with pests with my okra, but the red okra for some reason attracts a lot more of these aphids and ants than the green okra. So here, I don't know if you can see, let me get closer so you can see it. There are aphids right there. You see, there are tiny little bugs there. And there are ants really everywhere here in this okra. The green okra doesn't really have this many. It actually doesn't have any aphids. Sometimes there are ants, but the red okra attracts the aphids a lot more. So you can either, the ants are biting me. You can either spray, for example, neem oil, or you can do what I do really, which is just to spray with a jet of water, just like I did with other plants like the tomato forest that I had. So spray with a jet of water and you can get rid of the aphids. They will return, but you can control the population and that should be okay. Okras are really strong plants, but there are predators and pests that can come and destroy your plants. So here you can see the locust, and sometimes grasshoppers or other pests will come and eat the leaves. You can see here, this leaf was completely eaten by this grasshopper or locust. So you just really need to be careful with them. Although we only have one, it can do pretty good damage to your plants. But it doesn't really eat all the leaves. You can see here there are many leaves. Okra plants are pretty strong. Now, the number one tip, the most important thing you need to know when trying to grow okra is that you have to pick it every couple of days. When the okra itself is still small, about this size. If you wait too long, like I have for this guy here, look at the size of this guy. It's so big. This guy here, if I pick it up and if I try to cook it, it's going to be very stringy and very hard. So you cannot let it grow to this size. You have to pick it every couple of days. And every okra plant will produce at least a few okras every maybe 3 days or so, 4 days maybe, and you just have to pick it up. If you have, like I do here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 okra plants, you should have a little portion of okra every week for as long as the plants live. So that's the number one tip. So now after a while, I let this okra plant grow, and as you can see here, I also missed another 2 on top. They're pretty big, and when they're big like this, they're gonna be pretty stringy and hard to eat. So these are not good to pick up anymore. So I'll let them dry out and produce seeds for next year. This one here that I showed you some time ago that was pretty big, I'm gonna cut it off so you can see now. Look how hard it is. And I'm gonna open it for you to see inside. Look at the seeds, they're black. So when the seeds are black like this, it means that they're ready and you can plant them. You can save them for next season, next year, or you can plant them this year anyway. So yeah, that's it for saving seeds for okra. Let me know in the comments below if you also like okra, if you don't mind that it's a little bit slimy, because here at home we love it. Leave your comments below, subscribe to the channel, and enjoy your garden.